Kim Basinger wasn't just another star crushed by fame. She was the architect of some of Hollywood's most explosive sex scandals. From the glitzy chaos of the 1980s to the early 2000s, affairs during marriage, steamy on-set seductions, and whispers of wild, reckless nights, her secrets followed her like a signature scent. What really happened when the cameras stopped rolling? And how close did it all come to destroying her? This is the unfiltered truth about Kim Basinger. Long before Hollywood knew her name, Kim Basinger was already turning heads in a small town in Georgia. She started off shy and soft-spoken, the kind of girl you'd never expect to send pulses racing, but that quiet innocence didn't last long. By 17, Kim started soaking up attention like it was oxygen by cheerleading and strutting through beauty pageants. She even posed with her mother for a Breck ad, showing early signs of the storm that was building. By the time she graduated from high school, Kim was already regarded as the next big thing. So when Ford Modeling Agency came knocking, it was no surprise to anyone. But instead of leaping into the glam life, she shocked everyone by turning them down and enrolling at the University of Georgia. But it didn't last. The spotlight had already marked her, and the pull was too strong to resist. She dropped out, packed her bags, and dove headfirst into the world of high-fashion modeling, knowing full well it would devour and desire her in equal measure. In New York, Kim was making $1,000 a day. Her face was everywhere. Breck made her its golden goddess, and magazines couldn't get enough. But behind those glossy covers, Kim was suffocating. Being branded just a pretty face started to eat away at her. She once admitted, "It was very hard to go from one booking to another and always have to deal with the way I looked. I couldn't stand it. I felt myself choking." Kim didn't want to be just another bombshell. So while the world drooled over her photos, she was slipping away into New York's underground, studying acting at the neighborhood playhouse and the William Esper studio by day, and by night, singing in smoky Greenwich Village clubs, chasing a different dream. Somewhere in the chaos, Kim fell for Tim Saunders. He was her first public relationship, the first man to hold hands with America's rising sex symbol. In 1976, at 23, Kim finally broke free. After years of being worshipped as a model, she was done being a pretty face for rent. She jumped into a steamy, fast-burning affair with actor Dale Robinette and followed him straight to Los Angeles. The romance fizzled in 4 months, but that was all Kim needed to taste the wild, hot-blooded chaos of Hollywood. She wasn't leaving. The auditions were brutal. She bounced from one audition to the next, hoping for any screen time she could get. Kim eventually landed minor TV roles on shows like Charlie's Angels and Macmillan and Wife. At one point, she even turned down a recurring role that later launched Cheryl Ladd's career. While she chased the spotlight, men chased her. Football legend Joe Namath could not keep his eyes off her and became her third known boyfriend in under 5 years. Kim was collecting lovers like casting calls and noticed that this would soon become a very controversial habit. Kim's big break came in 1978 with Katie, Portrait of a Centerfold, a TV movie that told a story that she was very well familiar with. Just like her character, Kim was a small-town girl chasing stardom and ended up in men's magazines. By 1979, she was heating up the screen in a steamy remake of From Here to Eternity. Her performance was strong enough to land her a spot in the spin-off series. On set, she was also wrapped up in a short-lived romance with Jan Michael Vincent. Their chemistry was explosive and everyone noticed, but they were both too hungry for fame, too selfish to slow down. So they did what Hollywood flings do best: burn hot, burn fast, and burn out. However, just when people thought she was addicted to bad boys and bedroom stories, Kim pulled a shocker. In 1980, she married Ron Snyder, a quiet, behind-the-scenes makeup artist. From the outside, it looked like she was trading in chaos for comfort, but behind those doors, nothing was calm. At one point, Kim's anxiety spiraled into a full-blown breakdown. She had a panic attack that left her trapped in her home for 6 months, so Snyder had to quit his job to care for her. There was also a weird moment in the marriage when she requested that he change his last name to match hers, which he did, but as time went on, her list of demands kept on getting longer, so long that a crack had started to form between them. Then came 1983, and everything changed. Kim landed the role of a lifetime, Domino Patachi in Never Say Never Again. starring opposite the legendary Sean Connery in a Bond reboot that raked in over $160 million. This was her biggest project yet, and despite the movie already having its budget for marketing, Kim took it upon herself to make sure that the movie did not fail, even if it meant dragging her marriage into the mud. To promote the film, she stripped down for Playboy, launching one of the most iconic photo spreads of the decade. It was a very scandalous move, but it worked. The movie surpassed expectations, and most of all, the directors began to notice her. Over the next 2 years, Kim exploded across the screen, rubbing shoulders with Robert Redford, Blake Edwards, and Robert Altman in 4 back-to-back hits. She earned a Golden Globe nomination, and the industry was finally seeing her as more than just an actress. But it was 9.5 weeks that lit the match and let everything burn. Released in 1986, the film pushed every boundary. It was wild and highly sexual, as Kim's on-screen chemistry with Mickey Rourke was both electric and deeply unsettling. American audiences weren't ready for it, and the film bombed at the box office. But in Europe, it became a sensation. Even Roger Ebert couldn't look away. He praised Kim's performance as hauntingly fearless, and Kim stood by it. She told Variety that she loved the film's honesty, that it captured sex the way it actually feels: messy, psychological, seductive, and dangerous. But as the cameras rolled and critics buzzed, Kim's real life was turning into its own scandal. Still legally married to Ron Snyder, Kim started a secret affair with Richard Gere on the set of No Mercy. It didn't take long before the heat spilled off screen. The affair got so intense she couldn't keep up the charade, and Ron began to feel that something was off. The woman he once nursed through panic attacks was now slipping into hotel rooms with another man. Things spiraled out of control when Snyder found the kind of evidence no husband ever wants to see: love letters hidden deep in Kim's home gym. One night, Snyder followed her, and that's when he saw it with his own eyes. Kim and Richard Gere, looking like lovebirds in a restaurant. Surprisingly, that did not end the marriage there, and she did not stop cheating. In 1989, Kim took the role of Vicky Vale in Tim Burton's Gothic reboot of Batman. As expected, the movie was a monster hit, raking in over $400 million and launching a new era of comic book blockbusters. However, what many did not expect was Kim's shameless and very public relationship with producer John Peters. Her marriage was hanging by a thread, but Kim didn't care anymore. Her affair with Peters was anything but secret. It oozed out on set so much that even Michael Keaton started getting territorial. Peters later spilled the dirty details in The Hollywood Reporter. Kim had a husband who was abusive. One day I grabbed him. She connected with me because I protected her, and we ended up having a big affair. Talking about Keaton, Peters didn't hold back. Michael Keaton had the eye for Kim. I remember he got mad at me when she and I hooked up. He felt rejected because he was the star. He's Batman. Yeah, I was a hairdresser who could talk to women. Kim and Peters' connection was hot, messy, and immediate. They were writing scripts together, sleeping together, and living together on set. But like all her flings, it burned bright and burned out fast. By the time Batman left theaters, her marriage to Snyder had finally collapsed. The divorce was brutal. Kim walked away single, but with a price: $9,000 a month in alimony, stretched across 8 long years. One would have thought that she would finally slow down, but the ink on the headlines hadn't even dried when she dropped her next bombshell with Prince. The Purple One and Kim Basinger had met while working on the Batman soundtrack. Their chemistry was the reason why she parted ways with Peters. Kim was so head over heels that she ditched LA and moved to Minneapolis just to be near Prince, and they worked on a secret album called Hollywood Affair. One of the tracks on this album, Scandalous Sex Suite, was rumored to include real recordings of their steamy studio sessions. Fans did not get to witness the magic that they were cooking, as the project was never officially released, and the relationship ended in 1990. Later that year, on the set of The Marrying Man, Kim crossed paths with Alec Baldwin. On screen, they were the perfect duo, and gradually, their romance between their characters started seeping into their personal lives. They fell in love, but true to Kim's reputation, their affair didn't come without chaos. Because Kim was never one to play it safe, as soon as the Baldwin romance hit the tabloids, she stirred the pot even more. She reunited with ex-lover Richard Gere for final analysis, playing a dangerously seductive woman tangled in a twisted affair. It was another movie that was steamy, disturbing, and way too risque for most audiences. The box office numbers were weak, and people started wondering why she would take such a dark, sexual role while supposedly playing house with Baldwin. Well, Kim lived for the controversy. Then in 1993, things got messier than ever. Kim found herself deep in legal hell after pulling out of the controversial indie shocker Boxing Helena. Mainline Pictures sued her for $6.4 million, claiming they had an oral agreement and were ready to roll cameras in July 1991 when Kim suddenly vanished from the project, just 4 weeks before production. According to Kim, she read the script, considered it, but walked because the film was too graphic and nowhere near the level of art she was aiming for. It turned out she wasn't exaggerating. Boxing Helena is about a twisted surgeon who becomes obsessed with a beautiful woman. After a car crash, he amputates her healthy limbs and traps her in a box, hoping to force her into love. Later that same year, Kim and Baldwin tied the knot, becoming Hollywood's new golden couple. 2 years later, they had a daughter, Ireland, but if anyone thought motherhood would mellow Kim out, they were wrong. Just like her first marriage, this union also did not work out. They just couldn't communicate, and the relationship was full of screaming matches and emotional blow-ups. Their divorce in 2002 was also brutal, as they dragged it out in public with an ugly custody fight where she spent about $1.5 million to keep Baldwin away from their child. Kim accused Baldwin of being emotionally shut off, while he accused her of being manipulative. The very loud divorce was a tabloid dream and a personal nightmare. It was so draining that when the dust settled, Kim disappeared from the spotlight that she had so much sought since her early years. She was rumored to have been in a relationship with Eminem, but he openly debunked the rumor. But nothing was heard from Kim's side. She remained hidden from the public. Years later, Kim revealed in an interview that she rarely watches her own films, and that among her old roles, there's one film she never wants to revisit, The Informers. In this film that is even raunchier than 9.5 Weeks, Kim played Laura, a character she hated so much she tried to scrub her off every night. Every time I came home from set, I needed to shower and forget she existed. Kim said that she began to regret the roles she played earlier in her career when her daughter's friends began discovering her old roles. That period was so hard on her relationship with Ireland that on school drop-offs, Ireland begged her to stay in the car. After her very long break from acting, Kim slowly re-emerged in 2010, taking a softer role in Charlie St. Cloud as a grieving mother. It was the kind of role she needed to avoid making headlines. She stayed in that lane through the mid-2010s, avoiding anything too loud or too naked. Away from the cameras, something unexpected was happening. In 2014, Kim let someone new into her life, Mitch Stone, a celebrity hairstylist she'd known for over 2 decades. They had worked together on film sets, building a friendship long before sparks flew. After years of heartbreak and drama, Kim called the relationship a surprise she didn't see coming. Kim once again stepped back into the world of scandal, sex, and control in 2017, when she joined the 50 Shades franchise as Elena Lincoln, the icy ex-lover and secret architect of Christian Grey's dark desires. Despite how hard critics were on the movie, she returned for the 2018 sequel, 50 Shades Freed, and this time, she did not get into an explosive relationship scandal. In 2018, rumors of a secret engagement started spreading, but neither Kim nor Maish confirmed anything. Friends say they don't need a wedding. The now 72-year-old Kim Basinger has long moved in with Mitch, and they remain a couple to date. Despite the quieter role that she has taken in recent years, Kim still refuses to play by Hollywood's new rulebook. When asked about the rise of intimacy coordinators, she didn't hold back. "I can't imagine someone walking up and saying, 'Is it okay if they touch you here?' That's just one more person in the room. Either we figure it out as actors, or we don't." For Kim, sex on screen should be raw and real, not staged like a ballet, and anything less is fake. If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll enjoy the one on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one.